Hello, everyone. This is the Parks Academy, where we discuss and celebrate all things theme parks related. We focus mainly on Disney parks and resorts in both Anaheim and Orlando. My name is Paige.
My name is Steven.
And today we'll be talking about things we miss in the Disney parks.
This has been an episode. This is an episode I've been wanting to do for a while now.
Yes, you have.
I'm really excited. I don't know why, but I'm really excited about this one. There's so many things that change in Disney over the years. So many lost loves, and I thought it would be just a lot of fun to kind of revisit some of those. So we have I don't know, about nine things that we was it 9?
It is 9.
Yep, I just glanced at it.
An odd number.
It. Yeah, fun. We have 9. We have 9 things that we miss, and we're gonna alternate between them. And Paige is gonna go first with the first thing that she misses that is no longer in Disney.
So my first one, Stephen hated this attraction.
Yeah.
I loved this attraction dearly, and I'm so sad to see it gone, but it is Stitch's Great Escape. If you did not have the opportunity to partake in Stitch's Great Escape, it was in Tomorrowland in Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World, and it was in the little theater there where the alien encounter was prior to that. This ride, it was sort of like a round room where you're all facing the center, where Experiment 626 comes up through the middle once he's been like teleported into the room. Yeah. And he jumps around on your shoulders. So you have these like shoulder bars that come down around your neck. You can feel the pressure from him bouncing around the people. It like tickles your head because he's supposed to be, just mischievous. He burps and it smells like a nasty chili dog.
It doesn't smell like a chili dog. It smells like someone had there's a gas leak in the building.
Well, it was supposed to be a chili dog. Mm. And he like spits out water at you in all directions. So,
and like most of this happens in the dark.
Yes, it's mostly dark in the theater. But it was so fun, and it was cute, and it was immersive, and it was like a little 4D show, but you felt like you were strapped into a roller coaster or something. I just thought it was so fun.
I think I would like it, except for the fact that I do not like being constrained. And
yeah, that was probably it.
Yeah, I just for whatever reason, I don't want to be held down by anything. And normally like in a roller coaster, I'm fine, but the fact that it pushed down on me, I don't know why that really freaked me out to have the shoulder harnesses pushing down on my shoulders like that.
Well, and you were sitting still, so that's probably why.
Yeah.
So it's just pushing you down into your seat.
Yep.
One thing too is, so this attraction opened in 2004, mm-hmm. and it closed in 2018 for good, but we probably rode it in 2018 in the spring?
No, we rode it in 2017. It actually closed in September of 2017.
It closed in 2017?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then we must have ridden it on our 2017
we did,
trip.
Yeah, yep.
And the last time we rode it, there was a group of teenagers sitting in the front row of the theater, and they were on their cell phones. So when all of the lights went out for the show to actually start, or for the attraction to actually start, these youths were on their phones, and the cast member was like just waiting for them to put their phones away. And so we were just sitting awkwardly in the dark for probably almost a minute, and everyone was kind of like, what is going on? And the cast member had to go down and talk to the teenagers and ask them to put their phones away. So,
I didn't know that was I thought that was part of the show.
Yeah, so it was super creepy because we were just like, why are we just sitting in the dark? So that was a little bit sad that was our last experience. But nonetheless, I loved this attraction. I love Lilo and Stitch. I think Stitch is a hilarious little cute, adorable character.
Right.
And so I thought it was a fun little thing for families. Some kids got really scared by it. It was nothing compared to the alien encounter.
But it was enough, right?
But so I thought it was entertaining.
Do you want to hear something funny? This is crazy. So when they shut it down and replaced it, they changed the name because right now it's character meet and greet. So currently its name is Stitch's Alien Encounter Character Greeting. It's kind of a fun nod to what it used to be.
Sad.
All right. So the next thing that I have, that I miss personally, we have to go to Disneyland for this one. And, right now this area is a Star Wars space. It's in Tomorrowland as well. And it's this whole like Star Wars area where you can meet and greet the characters. You can see, Kylo and Chewbacca and Darth Vader and all those guys. But it used to be Interventions, and Interventions was like one of my favorite things to do in Tomorrowland. I absolutely loved it. It was basically like this giant circular building, and you had to go up this huge ramp to get into it. And once it was really cool because like once you got up to the very top of this ramp, there was a door that was shut, and you were kind of waiting to get in, like for a cast member to actually open up the doors and let you in. And one of the coolest things about it was this thing was all about inventions, right? Like it was all about innovating and inventions and just cool things going on. And so like there was this and there's a nod to this on the People Mover, but there was this full-size audio animatronic named Tom Amaro, which is really funny, like Tom Amaro Land, because it was his land. It's just great. He was voiced by the wonderful Nathan Lane. And one of the really interesting things about it that I completely blanked on until now, because I looked up some stuff about it before the show, but he sang "It's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow" when you walked in.
Aww.
And I didn't realize that was what he was singing, but that's what that was. But it was really cool. It was 2 stories, and so you have to understand, this was at the time when, like, early 2000s. So this was before we had iPhones, and even like before iPhones got good, to the point where they were really interactive, and there's apps that were really pretty cutting edge and great. So all of these things like Stitch's picture phone and a virtual resort where you like basically lived inside of a little house for a minute and you fed virtual fish and stuff. There was like a hands-on St. Joseph's Medical Center. There was entire Dance Dance Revolution like stages. And there was also like interactive ESPN video games. But the thing that stood out to me at the time was something called the Honda Asimo Theater. Asimo was a little robot. It was called the Advanced Step in Innovative Mobility. And this is, again, it sounds dumb now going back to it, but like in the early 2000s, this robot, it actually was able to walk. So it walked forward. It was able to climb upstairs and go back downstairs and dance and stuff. And I just remember being like so darn impressed by this thing at the time. Yeah, it's probably lame now.
No, that's cool.
I thought it was pretty cool. And then there was also like video game consoles, virtual Magic Kingdoms, and you could like design your own fireworks show at this thing. So it was really neat. I personally really, really liked it a lot. But it's gone. And I got to be honest with you, I'm really disappointed in that because and that's coming from someone who's a big Star Wars fan. So you'd think I'd be happy that Star Wars stuff is there, but yeah, I don't know. I really liked it, and I wish that they would. I do wish they'd bring it back, but there's a part of me that almost wonders, with the speed and at which technology changes, and also with the accessibility that we have to it, I think that things in Tomorrowland would kind of feel a little bit stale in an intervention setting. And I think that's one of the struggles that they have with Tomorrowland in general, is that it's hard to keep up with what the future is going to be like, because the future's like coming at us so fast all the time.
The technology changes in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
It's impossible to keep up with.
I would say even in the last 10 years, frankly. I mean, it's
especially the last 10.
And so you're going to have all these kids like 9-year-olds with iPhones and stuff who are like not going to be super impressed by a robot going upstairs.
Right, exactly.
Which is wild, because I was impressed by that for sure.
Yep.
What do you got? What's next for you?
Okay, so the next one that I have, I'm taking it over to Disney's Animal Kingdom, and this ride is actually still operating, but what I miss is the original Kilimanjaro Safari attraction with the Little Red and Big Red storyline.
Yeah, you told me about this before I went on the ride, and you were so excited, and I went on it, and I was like, nothing happened.
Yeah, so originally the ride had a scripted piece of it where the driver would be like referring to the call sign Simba 1, and so like we always said like Simba 1 when we would talk about the ride. And then the whole storyline was that we were like hunting down poachers who had this mother elephant, Big Red, and a baby elephant, Little Red, and then at the end, happy ending, you confront the poachers and you save Little Red, and there's this elephant on the back of this truck, and you're like, yay, we saved the day, and that's, you sort of like speed to the end of the ride. Well, unfortunately, they cut a piece of that out throughout the years, and so then in 2012, the Little Red story was no longer in the attraction. They took out the animatronic, and then they like just filled it with zebras. Like,
yeah, it's
added
a great
in more
like
animals.
the safari's amazing, but it does feel like there's a lack of Disney storytelling there. And so it is weird that they don't have that anymore. I wish I could have seen it. It sounds great.
Well, it was so fun because it felt like you were part of, almost like the Great Movie Ride, how that was like the driver was part of the story, or the Jungle Cruise where the driver is part of the story. And
boy, is the Great Movie Ride something that's going to come up.
But like the cast member got to engage with this story, even though it was just sort of a memorized script. It felt immersive and fun, and you felt like you were doing something good by catching these poachers. So
yeah,
I do really miss that. One of the good things, though, about it is through all of the changes with the Kilimanjaro Safari in taking away pieces of the scripted piece and adding in zebras and taking away zebras, they actually in 2016 added in those nighttime safaris again, which we've had the opportunity to be able to partake in.
Right.
And so one of my most memorable moments in Animal Kingdom was when we got to see the lions at night and we heard it roar, and it was like bone chilling.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I mean, it was incredible. And I've mentioned it before, but the opportunity that you have now to do the Kilimanjaro Safari at night on those night rides is just amazing. So is it worth losing the story by getting extra time? Could they do both? Could they add in another?
They could do both.
Could they add in another like conservation type story? I don't know, maybe, but I really miss the original. That was my favorite.
All right. We're going to go back over to California for my next one. This is in DCA. And part of when DCA opened up, part of the original structure of it was a Bugs Land. And that has since recently been replaced by Avengers Campus. A lot of people are like over the moon about Avengers Campus. And I know that, A Bug's Life doesn't really have that great of a shelf life. I mean, compared to Avengers, it's certainly not pulling in the money, that Tony Stark's bringing in.
Yeah, but it's cute.
But it was great, and I loved it there. I never loved it from I didn't really go on the rides because they were a little small for me when I first went. I went to Disneyland for the first time when I was 9, and so I wasn't really I think I may have gone on the bumper cars, but like Flix Flyers and the Heimlich Choo Choo Train, which is just like iconic. Those are great, and it was for me. It was the theming that I missed.
Right.
Walking, if you hadn't been there before, if you've never seen it before, look it up on Google Images or something, because A Bug's Land was so cool. It was so innovative. Like, if you think that Toy Story Land is cool because everything's big, Bug's Land was crazier. Like, the bathroom, it was an upside down tissue box was what it was supposed to be, basically.
Yeah, well, if you think of the scaling of how tall things would be to toys like Woody and Buzz's size versus an ant, the scaling is crazy cool.
They had an entire water park area for kids where you can go in and splash around, and it was a leaky water hose. So that, it was a huge water hose. The Heimlich Choo Choo Train went through a half-eaten watermelon. It was really fun. It was really, really just a really great area. And then, of course, when they got rid of it, they also got rid of It's Tough to Be a Bug in California, which I think is a crying shame because that is such a great ride. It's a loved one in Disney World. So I don't know why it was gotten rid of, I honestly don't know why it was gotten rid of in DCA, frankly. But one of the things that they did, they do pay homage to it now in Avengers Campus, where if you are walking around periodically, you'll see the Wasp. And she's carrying around this small miniaturized version of Bugs. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, she's carrying around a small little miniaturized version of of Bugs Land in her hand, and she's like showing it to people like with Pym particles. They shrunk it down.
Oh, that's
and
cute.
they made it like small and stuff. It's I just put it in notes for you to look at. It's really, really cool. But like it's not the same. So anyway, I really miss a Bugs Land. Avengers are I like Marvel. I think Avengers are cool, but I don't know. I don't think they're as cool as a Heimlich train.
Well, but what's going to bring in the money?
That's what I was saying. Right. Flick and Ada, they're not going to bring in the big bucks.
Bless.
So did you get the picture? Did you see it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's cool, right? Yeah.
That's very cute.
I'll put this in the show, this photo in the show notes. It's kind of a fun. I'm glad they did that, at least, to keep it kind of alive.
Right. That's really sweet.
Yeah.
That's so cute. All the little clovers.
Now the ants are super small.
Yeah. Yes, they are. Even smaller than normal ants.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one, Stephen alluded to earlier. I'm heading back to Walt Disney World, and I just realized I have not repeated any parks so far. I'm heading over to Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
I went to Magic Kingdom, then Animal Kingdom. Now I'm in Hollywood Studios, formerly known as MGM Studios.
I don't think... Are we going to Epcot?
What?
I don't see Epcot on the list.
I don't think I am going to Epcot.
Oh, no. Yeah, we're not. Shoot. All right, well.
No.
We'll carry on, just as is.
So I'm going to Hollywood Studios, and I'm talking about the Great Movie Ride.
There's a lot of nostalgia for this ride, and a lot of broken hearts about it.
So the only thing I'll say before I go into nostalgia land and talk about how much I loved this ride and a little bit about the ride, the replacement that is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Fantastic.
Phenomenal. Worth every second of the wait.
Yep.
The first Mickey Mouse themed ride, which is
bonkers.
That's crazy.
Bonkers.
But they did it exactly how it should have been done.
And it's coming to Disneyland too in Toontown, which is
it's amazing.
So great, yeah.
A little bit about the ride is you entered into the Grauman's Chinese Theater, similarly to the one that you would find in Hollywood, California. Mm-hmm. And it's a great replica with the handprints in front of it. Very cool on the outside. And then when you go inside, you load into your ride vehicles and you go through different aspects of different eras of movies and different genres of movies. So you have musicals, you have gangster films, then you have westerns, and there's like a shootout, and your ride driver in your vehicle actually swapped out with different characters. Yeah, you get hijacked during the ride.
I only rode this thing one time.
Right, because it closed in
I have an extremely unpopular thing to say.
Oh, no.
I didn't like it. I actually... just plug your ears, but I didn't like it at all. And it was one of those things where I was kind of ready for it to be over when I got on it.
Hi, everyone. I married a party pooper.
And the final part, when you're kind of like seeing all the Turner classic movies.
So fantastic.
At the end, I was like, oh, this is... I just... And the animatronic scared me a little bit.
Well, it was old. It was a classic.
So anyways, I'm not gonna carry on. I just wanted to be honest.
If you're
I wanted to at least get that out there so you knew.
Are you Team Paige and you loved the Great Movie Ride, or are you Team Steven and you thought it was just overrated and outdated? We'd love to hear your answer.
Going through the Wizard of Oz section was very unsettling.
Oh, it was so sweet. It was so sweet.
I won't poo-poo on the ride. Any more than I already am. I just wanted to at least get that out there.
Well, I thought it was fun, and I loved when you lined up at the end in front of that giant movie screen, and it just kind of flips through all of those classic movie moments. I thought it was very fun. I thought it was really well done. And I loved the interactive piece with the cast members who kind of swapped out, and you thought you got hijacked, and it was so immersive. I thought it was great, and I thought it really hit a lot of classics that even kids would be able to recognize. Most of them. I mean, like some kids wouldn't know, like Casablanca maybe, but they would be able to recognize things like The Wizard of Oz. Well, they'd be able to recognize some of those even old like westerns.
Casablanca, like that could still be like a cultural touchstone for kids, even as they, because they knew it from Disney or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Which is nice. I wonder what even made it. I mean, I'm sure there's information out there, but I wonder what the thinking behind shutting it down actually was, because a lot of people seem to really throw a fit about it.
Well, I think probably because it was one of the older rides.
Yeah.
And the Grauman's Chinese Theater had so much potential with a modern ride.
Yeah, right.
Like when you walk in now to the queue and you have all of these Minnie and Mickey posters inside, like you've entered into this classic movie theater and you see all these Minnie and Mickey movies.
It's great, yeah.
And I'm not going to, I mean, the ride's been out a decent amount of time now, but I'm not going to spoil it because if you haven't ridden Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, you have to go see it. We went in blind without having any spoilers, and I was so shocked when I rode that ride.
There was, I had seen a spoiler for the beginning sequence where you're like watching the video in the beginning and waiting in the room, and I completely forgot what happened. So I knew that something big happened, but I couldn't remember what. And then when it happened, I was like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, that's great. That's so amazing." I personally like Minnie and Mickey's better, but I understand the heartbreak of people losing the great movie ride. I know that was a good one for a lot of folks.
Well, it was fun, and it was nostalgic for more than one reason. It was nostalgic from growing up going to that park and riding the ride, and it was nostalgic for all of those classic Hollywood moments from all of those fantastic films in history. So
I hope this episode doesn't sound like a complaining episode because we're not. Like, we're not complaining. We're just sharing things that
we're reminiscing on the things that we loved about Disney.
The good old days. Jiminy Christmas. All right. Can I jump on mine?
You got it.
All right. So Disneyland was the park that I grew up going to the most. And I've certainly been there far more times than I've been to Disney World, just because of how frequently I went growing up. But in Disney World, because that's like my new home park, because that's where I live closest to now, they do not have a ride that is still in Disneyland that I love, and they got rid of it. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is something I do miss, and I don't love riding rides in Fantasyland typically. Like, they're great and they're a lot of fun, but I can usually wander on through Fantasyland without having to get on a ride and still have a pretty good time. But Mr. Toad's Wild Ride to me is so much fun. It's just it's I don't know. It's simple. It's I don't know. I mean, you went on it for the first time recently.
Last time we went.
Yeah, you liked it, right?
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. It was a classic dark ride. Nothing to write home about.
Yeah,
but it's cute.
Well, it's on my show, so
I know.
But yeah, I to me it stands out amongst other dark rides as one that's a little bit more fun. And I think it's just this little storytelling and the characters and just the whimsical nature of it. It's not my favorite dark ride. My favorite dark ride, without a doubt, is the Alice in Wonderland ride in Disneyland.
That one's fun.
That one's awesome.
It's really fun.
Yeah, Disney World, their Magic Kingdom is missing out by not having certain dark rides. It blows my mind.
I don't love the dark rides in Magic Kingdom mostly.
Hot take.
I just don't.
Yeah.
I mean, not because I'm an adult or because I'm too old to enjoy them. I don't know. None of them feel so special to me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that like Peter Pan's Flight is obviously one that is beloved by so many people, but yeah, I don't know. Mr. Toad, for me, that's one of my all-time favorites. I love it. It's just so much fun. I grew up like reading the books, and I saw like the Disney films with that character in it and stuff. So I wish that was still in Magic Kingdom, but if they brought it back, it wouldn't feel the same because it wouldn't have that old, like, it just would, I don't know, I just don't think it would feel the same because it'd be new, and part of the appeal of it's the old nature of it. So.
Right, it would feel too modern to be the same ride.
All right, what's your next one?
My next one is in Epcot, my friend.
Hey-o! I was confused because this one used to be in Disneyland and Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
So, hit me with it.
Was in Epcot, R.I.P. And so it actually replaced one of the worst attractions to ever exist in a Disney park.
What did it replace?
Captain EO.
Okay, hang on. Captain EO is actually one of the best things I've ever seen.
Okay, honestly, I would ride Journey into Imagination with Figment, the current version of this, 100 times before I would sit through Captain EO again. I
don't know, man. Captain EO is great.
And I am not hating on Michael Jackson. Like, I loved his music. I liked the movie The Wiz. Captain EO was rough.
Angelica Houston playing the Supreme Leader. You can't beat that.
It was so rough.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And I went with my friends in, like, high school. I was like, hey guys, let's go see this show, Captain EO. And they all looked at me halfway through the show and were like, why in the world did you bring us to see this?
Okay, well, if it's so bad, why did Francis Ford Coppola direct it?
Oh,
yeah.
To each their own?
Yeah. Look up his resume and tell me why Captain EO is so bad.
Excuse me, to each their own. That is a personal opinion. The way that you do not like the Great Movie Ride, I thought Captain EO was terrible. Anyway, the ride that I'm talking about that I really miss is Honey, I Shrunk the Audience.
Okay. That ride scared me half to death.
It was so fun.
That ride scared me so bad as a kid. You go on about it, and then I'll tell you about my my fear.
Okay, so it was a 4D show where, you wear the 3D glasses and then you have these immersive aspects of like things spraying out and smells and feeling things. I think like your chair shook or something, if I'm remembering correctly.
There's two things I remember about it. One, a giant snake freaking pops out at you and opens up its mouth. Two, someone lets go of these rats and they tickle your feet. Like they lose all the mice and they tickle your legs it's air, but oh boy, did that scare me.
Well, you also do not like A Bug's Life.
Well, I like it.
Reason.
I like it. It's just unsettling. I could do without getting poked.
Yeah, I don't remember the snake, but I do remember. I love the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I think it's a hilarious film. I hate the part where they get covered in pollen because it makes me feel like I'm going to sneeze and die.
See, you're like, I'm afraid of snakes and mice, which in real life I'm not, but 3D ones, no thanks. You're afraid of pollen. That's
well, it is what it is. I thought it was a really fun attraction, and I really did not like Captain EO, so I thought this was a huge upgrade. Yeah, I don't know. I liked this attraction a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, where was it in Epcot? Because I obviously never went on it there.
So the Future World Imagination Pavilion is where it was from 94 to like 2010.
Okay. Cool.
And then they brought back Captain EO for a short period of time after that.
Which, let's let the best.
No, not the best.
All right. So, my next one, this is my last one actually, and then Paige is gonna finish off with hers. So, Star Tours is arguably one of the better rides in Disney, in my opinion. But this new version, folks, it is not it. It's fine, but it's just it does not compare to the original version at all. So in the original one, you had RX-24 or Rex, and he was piloting the ship and was just this clumsy little robot who basically took what was Star Tours, it was supposed to go on this little tour of space, and it got into this whole like crazy crazy chase through the galaxy, and you went through like these ice rocks, and it was so much fun. His little voice was so high pitched and crazy. And for me, I thought the storyline, it was consistent. You knew what you were going to get, and it was super fun. And I personally just absolutely loved that one. And then they upgraded it. I don't remember exactly the year they upgraded it, but C-3PO was suddenly the pilot. And I like C-3PO as a character quite a bit, but it was just like, it was kind of clunky, I felt like. And then they added in like all this stuff from the prequels and then the sequels, which I love. I love all of them, but to me, it just really did not compare to the original ride that I just thought was so good. In the original one, you actually like went through the Death Star, like Luke did in A New Hope. There was all these really cool callbacks to the original films, and you just didn't get that in the remakes. So one of the things that I don't like about the newer version is that what kind of ends up happening is sometimes you'll get a storyline that rocks, and then sometimes you'll get a storyline that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Did you have a preference? Do you remember the old one at all?
I don't remember the old one.
Really?
I don't know how many times I don't know. I don't remember. My family was not big into Star Wars, so I don't ever remember like rushing to get on that ride.
Yeah, because one of the things is that if you're not careful, you're going to end up on Naboo and basically go into the lake where Jar Jar Binks lives. And I don't know. It's just like, some of the scenes are just weird choices for me. Like there's one of the scenes where you have like Wookiees, you know, like swinging on ropes and stuff like that, and it's from
that's my favorite one.
That's like, and then one of them like lands on the windshield. I
like the Wookiee one, but we got that one literally every time.
Yeah. So anyway, that one's I really miss the old one. I have a Paige was gracious enough to buy me a very very cool Star Tours poster for Christmas last year, and it's up in our basement where we record. And I love looking at it because it is a callback to the original one. And it has my buddy RX-24 on it. So
there you go.
I missed that ride, man. I wish that they would kind of similar. I guess I should have added this to my list, but similar to how I miss Soarin' over California. I wish that they would bring it back every once in a while. Kind of like sometimes they'll bring back Soarin' over California every once in a while.
Right.
But then you got to implement animatronics and all this kind of stuff. And like, you know, the video was older, and so it looked a little bit less, you know, high quality like the new one does. But
yeah, but they have all the technology. They could easily make that happen.
Yeah, I want that RX-24 droid somewhere. I know that they basically DJ Rex in Oga's Cantina is repurposed to basically be what the Rex unit was in Star Tours. But and then so it's cool that you can still visit that guy. But yeah. Bless, man.
All right.
What's your last one?
This one is actually not an attraction, but something I desperately miss in the Disney parks, which might be an unpopular opinion based on the reasoning that I think they took it down. And that is back to Disney's Hollywood Studios, the Mickey Sorcerer's Hat. You never even got to see it.
I asked you about that. I think when we went, I wanted to see it, right?
Yeah, it closed in 2015, I think. So they started dismantling it because I think a lot of people complained that it took away from the Grauman's Chinese Theater, which was really the staple of Hollywood Studios, being the Hollywood feel, the movie feel.
Yeah, it was kind of just in the middle of everything, wasn't it?
The placement was just awkward. And what I vividly remember is like back in the good old days when High School Musical was popular.
Oh my gosh, I'm looking through Google Images and I just landed on a High School Musical stage in front of it.
You better believe me, my brother got up there and we're dancing at the High School Musical show in front of Mickey Sorcerer's Hat in like
rough.
2007 probably.
Oh my gosh.
Good times. Good times,
That's
guys.
so funny. I literally scrolled right past it.
Yeah.
As I was looking at pictures of this thing.
Yeah. And then they just, sold pins and stuff there. It was like pin trading and all of that stuff. But I thought instead of having the Grauman's Chinese Theater or like the Tower of Terror be the staple of Hollywood Studios, I thought the Mickey Sorcerer's Hat from Fantasia was a great staple for that park. I really did.
That's always been a little bit of a source of confusion for me, is why Tower of Terror is like, I guess it's because of the Hollywood Hotel, but it just...
I think because it's massive.
Yeah.
So it catches your eye. It's right at the end of Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
And
it's right in the name.
And it's right in the name.
So we made t-shirts that we're selling online right now. TPA 20 for 20% off if you want one.
Boom.
And we picked staples from all the parks, right? So like for Magic Kingdom, we have the castle. Disneyland, we have the castle. Epcot, we've got the ball. Animal Kingdom, we have the Tree of Life. DCA, I put the Sun Wheel. And what had happened was, for Hollywood Studios, I actually put the Millennium Falcon.
Yes, you did.
Instead of putting the Hollywood Tower Hotel on there. Just because I was like, I don't know,
I'm not mad
Galaxy's
about it.
Edge is just as iconic to me as anything else. So,
well, and that's a shirt you would wear.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm not mad.
You got to make art that you believe in. If you don't believe in it, other people won't.
There you go.
Yeah. So there is a if you still want to see a Disney Magic hat, a Mickey Sorcerer's hat in Disneyland, there still is a pretty darn cool Sorcerer Mickey hat that's right going into the entrance of the Disneyland Hotel. It's not as big. It is. It's not as impressive, but it's still really, really cool. I think it's propped up by stars. It has a lot of like stars and stuff like kind of wrapped around it and stuff. So that one's pretty cool, and at least you can still see one. We got our picture in front of there when we went to Disneyland last time.
We did.
So, is there anything else that you miss? Anything else you're thinking about that you're like, man, I wish that they didn't get rid of this?
I don't think so. Those were my big things. And I did have one in each of the Walt Disney World parks.
Yeah,
so.
we covered all of them because we went to every single park. It's funny, though, because I basically only stayed in California. But again, like I didn't grow up going to Disney World. So.
Well, right, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, that's going to about wrap it up for us. Thank you so much for listening. Like I said earlier, we do have some merch on sale on our website. So if you want to snag some of that, you can get 20% off by using the offer code TPA20, TPA20. We have some cool t-shirts, cups, stickers, you name it. We got it on there for you. If you'd like to follow along with us, you can jump on our website at theparksacademypod.com. We have blog posts going out weekly. We have updated content. We put our RSS feeds on there and stuff like that. You can learn more about the show. You can also find out and more about us and follow us on Instagram at the Parks Academy. You can join us on Patreon if you would like to, and you can also find us on other social media networks like that as well. Again, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you guys spending the time with us, and we will catch you next time.